Hello, and welcome back to the Taylah Louise Budgets channel. You are here with me today for another sit down video, which does not happen very often over here, but we are going to talk through and go through my elopement budget breakdown. So as everyone that's been following my channel for a really long time would know, I was saving up for, and you're following the savings process for me saving up for my wedding last year. And I got married in September. Yeah, I've been meaning to do this, to talk through everything that we spent getting married, but elopement style. Especially, I wanted to share this because obviously this community is very budget friendly. We don't want to waste money, and weddings are just so inaccessible at the moment. And I mean, my husband and I have pretty good income, and yet we were like, absolutely no way are we going to spend the amount of money that is required to have a proper wedding. So obviously there are other reasons why we didn't want to have a big wedding. I'm not very good at being the center of attention. I don't like party organizing. I'm very type A, which you would think that means I like organizing, but no, I just like things being organized. The process of organizing an event really stresses me out. I'm a bit of a perfectionist in that way, but it's not necessarily my skill set to plan an event. My other half feels similarly about being watched. He wouldn't have wanted to say his own vows, which to be honest, he didn't anyway. But yeah, just we didn't really want a spectacle or a show. My family live in Brisbane. He has family that live in Cairns, and that's all of his close family, and his best friend lives in Townsville, so they all would have had to like travel. We both come from estranged households, so we would have wanted to have a small wedding because of budget, but then having a small wedding puts people that are estranged in close proximity, and we just wanted to avoid the drama of that, because even though like you could say that it would be fine and things will be fine and it's about us, so family's not gonna like say or do anything or complain, that's just not the nature of what happens when you have a wedding. And so we just wanted to avoid the whole process and literally just make the day about us. And when I say make the day about us, I mean we had 0 guests. So I know some people elope and they invite their parents or their siblings or some witnesses and have like a small party or like a micro wedding as such. We didn't. We also didn't elope overseas. So I know a lot of elopements are seen as like traveling like to Bali to have a wedding. We didn't. We did it locally. It's still called an elopement because we did it without inviting anyone. So yes, we had exactly 0 guests, not even my mother, not even his, no one. It was just the 2 of us and the party that were marrying us, which is exactly how we wanted it. No regrets about that. It doesn't mean that our families weren't supportive. Our families are definitely very supportive of us being together. There was no drama like that at all. It was just mainly a financial choice, and then there were benefits to that as well. Like I said, we didn't elope internationally, but because we had that small local wedding, part of the reason we didn't elope internationally is because when I had been looking into it, the wedding wouldn't be seen or recognized in Australia, so then we would still have to do a courthouse wedding in Australia anyway. So I was like, well, why don't we just have a courthouse wedding? Why don't we just have a small elopement in Australia and then travel overseas? So that is what we did. We went to Japan for almost 3 weeks for our honeymoon. I took a week leave without pay from work to extend a 2-week school holidays into that 3-week period. And then wedding and honeymoon combined was about 3 weeks. And my other half took annual leave for that. He had plenty up his sleeve to use. So yeah, that's what we did. I'm not really gonna go through the Japan budget. To be honest, I didn't really track it, and we weren't trying to budget. I'm gonna say we spent about 15K. It was probably a little bit more, but we bought a lot of things. Like we did a lot of shopping in Japan and like bought like Christmas presents and birthday presents and stuff for family members. I think I bought, including the pair of shoes I bought to go with me to Japan, I bought 5 pairs of shoes. So, and then yeah, we both got basically brand new wardrobes. Like we had, after our first destination, we had a souvenir bag and a clothes bag that we were sharing. So yes, we definitely overspent. We could have done it easily less than 10K in terms of flights, accommodation, food, etc. But yeah, we spent a lot of extra money that we didn't necessarily need to. Anywho, I'm gonna get into it, but first of all, I'm going to crack open a drink. Normally it would be Pepsi Max, but I found this peach iced tea in my fridge and it's no sugar, and I thought I would have that today. I just redid my nails, so I don't wanna break them. Hey. I was really expecting that to have like more sparkle, like more carbon dioxide, but it is iced tea. So anywho, I've left some room on the side here in case I want to pop photos up as we go. And I will be looking down because I had to write some notes to determine like what this kind of costing breakdown was. I also wrote down like the months that I spent these things, but I think I'm just going to go through the overalls because the months just makes it messy because you pay for some things in split amounts. But from my tracking, what I can say is the first expenses that I paid were in January, and then we got married in September. So it was kind of, I was spending money over that 9-month period. Now we got married in Hastings Point in New South Wales, which is kind of inconvenient because we live in Queensland and it means that our marriage is registered in a different state to what we live in, but it's all well and good. Like totally fine and totally worth it. I am happy with the spot that we selected. Now, we went with an elopement company because, like I said, I'm a perfectionist. I wanted the things to be good, but I also wanted to make it as easy as possible. As a teacher, my job has so much admin, just is so mentally stimulating that the idea of kind of anything extra on top of that is overstimulating. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible. I loved the photos. I had some good reviews for this company and started following them on social media and went, you know what, this ticks all my boxes. So, and you'll see why as we go through with how easy they made the process. But we went with Lux Elopement. So it's run by SJ. And she's like Lux Elopements Byron Bay or something on Instagram. I will probably put her links below. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Love her to bits. So that is who we went with. And we bought a package. So I got obviously the most simple package. It was like 0 to 2 people. We did toy with taking our own witnesses, but my mother would have been too upset to not be one of them. And I was like, okay, well, if I can only take 2 people, I can't take my mum because I can't have my mum there and not have his mum there. So we're just gonna not take anyone, and then no one can be unhappy because no one was invited. So the Lux Elopement package that we purchased was $4,180, which sounds like a lot, but this included the celebrant. And I'm pretty sure it also included like any fees associated with like intending marriage forms and stuff like that. I couldn't find in my emails any other invoices. I'm pretty sure all of those fees were included, like council fees for destination, because we didn't pay for a venue. We actually got married in public at Hastings Point. We got married up the top of the headland because both of us hate sand. So even though I kind of wanted like the nature view, the beach view, I didn't want to walk on sand, and I'm not a person that ever wants to take my shoes off. I'm wearing socks right now filming this because I hate being barefoot. So yeah, neither of us were, absolutely not. Worst case scenario would have been us on the sand on our wedding day. So that was one of the things that we used to like vibe over, the fact that we both hated sand. So yeah, we got married in the grassy area, but it overlooked the beach. So we still got beachy-esque photos, which was ideal. But $4,180, that covered our celebrant. It covered my hair and makeup. It covered my bouquet, which got delivered to our accommodation day of. And then they pulled some of the, I think, what did they use? Oh, and it was also meant to, what's that thing that the groom wears? You know what I'm talking about. That one, we pulled some of that out to use in my hair because it was a bit luscious, let's say. And maybe he didn't wear it at all in the end. Actually, yeah, I've got a feeling we decided his wasn't sitting right on him, so he didn't wear that at all in the end, but we did use bits of it in my hair. Sorry, celebrant, hair, makeup, florals, and photographer and planner all included in that package, which was $4,180. So I'm definitely happy with that. Then we did some add-ons. So we added on a musician, which meant a guy with a guitar and a microphone and a speaker box, etc. was there playing acoustic songs the whole time. So they played my Walk Down the Aisle and they played all through photos afterwards. And yeah, so that was $900, and we got to make some requests and put in a like list of songs. One of the things that was really cool about that was I wanted to walk down the aisle to a really indie indie band. I want to call them a band, but they're basically a duo. And it's quite funny because we got married on a Monday, and that made this price cheaper, by the way. We got married on a Monday, but our anniversary of dating was the Friday before. And the Friday before is the day that the couple that are the band that I walked down the aisle to on the Monday, the Friday is the day they got married, which is super cool. I just, like, they got married on our initial anniversary, and then we used one of their songs on our wedding day and got married 4 days later, which is, yeah, I just thought that was like nice and cute and fun. But he learnt that song, and there is no way you'd be able to like Google what are the chords for this song, but he purposely went and learnt that song because he knew that it was important to me that I would walk down the aisle to it. So that was really cool, and I feel worth the dollars. And then I wanted a videographer, and this one was a tough one because our ceremonies were quite short. Obviously, no guests, it's just celebrant speak, me speak, and us converse, I guess, because I only had vows, he didn't have vows. Not even like the standard ones. You don't actually have to, by the way. You just, as long as you say like that, I take you, blah, 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 which I didn't mind at all. It was actually really sweet. So my vows went for 1,000-ish plus words, which is a surprise to no one that knows me. I'm an English teacher, you know I can talk. But because there was no guests, it actually meant that while I was saying those vows, like we were having breaks, he was responding to them, we were having like a conversation, which I think is really cool because vows, like when you're in public presenting these vows, it's like you just say your thing and like you've made your vow, and then your husband or the wife or whoever says their thing and they've said their vows. So I felt like it was like really sweet that realistically how relationships work is you have conversations and discussions and you make agreements. So I thought it was really cool that, oh my God, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. But like I wrote these vows of how, like what I intended to vow. And through being able to have that intimate moment on our wedding day, we were able to like have a conversation about it. And it wasn't like, there was nothing to like debate in it, obviously, but it was just really, really like sweet to see that, you know, I was vowing to not be a certain way. And he's like, you're already not that. What are you talking about? Like, it's been 9 years. You're not passive aggressive, for instance. And, you know, like I broke so many of the what not to do in your vows rules, but it was so us and so personalized. Like the amount of like inside jokes that like wouldn't have been received well by an audience, that wouldn't have got them, or maybe I wouldn't have felt as comfortable saying in front of all of our friends and family. Yeah, so just very personal, very raw and beautiful. Oh, I did mention, so yes, I got a videographer because wanted to be able to offer like our families access to our day without hearing the words of our day. So we didn't actually wear microphones and record the audio, but I wanted to be able to like look back over that moment in like a flowing movement kind of way. I like to film videos. I watch a lot of like wedding videos and stuff online. It was really important for me to have that and to be able to then offer that opportunity for my like mother, for instance, to watch that video, which she hasn't actually seen yet. We're gonna make a special moment of it. But a videographer was $1,540. I just wouldn't not like, if you were doing a bigger wedding than me, you definitely want a videographer. And if you are doing a small wedding, I think that it's really cool too. Like it doesn't just live on in our memories, but like I feel like having access to photos and videos of a day helps you unlock and remember more things about your day. $1,540 for that. So that was like a 2-ish minute, a little 2.5 minute video that I have, and it's beautifully edited and there's music to it. And when my family and everyone has kind of seen the video, I will probably post that video somewhere, maybe on here, maybe on Instagram. I also recently just asked for the raw footage as well, because obviously we got a 2-minute video, but I know that there's more footage that was taken. So I just paid $175 and the videographer is sending us all of her raw footage of our video on a hard drive. So that is really cool because I have the capacity to edit, obviously not in the same way that a videographer can, but it just might be special for me to have like all of the access to all of the memories of that day. Okay, I am talking way too much about this. I really worried that there wasn't gonna be enough content for this video, but boy, can she yap. So next up is accommodation. So even though I said like it's driving distance, we obviously drove to our accommodation, but we wanted to stay, we needed somewhere for my hair and makeup to be done. So we had to be within 15 minutes of the destination. And obviously we live in Queensland and it was over the New South Wales border. So we had to stay. We stayed the night before our wedding and the night of our wedding, because obviously, well, we had an afternoon, evening, sunset wedding. So we didn't want to have to like drive home that night, a bit anticlimactic. And yeah, then that meant that we were there the night before. So we would have it all day to get ready. And it was actually really sweet because we could go out for dinner the night before, being like, it's our wedding day tomorrow. We got to sleep next to each other. We got to wake up in the morning, go for brunch, be like, oh yeah, this is happening later. Makeup is coming at this time, etc. So that was really cool. The one sad part was that obviously there was like a pool and a spa and stuff, but I had like my hair in that like fresh washed, ready for my hair to be done professionally. So I didn't want to go in the water at all. I didn't do a spray tan or anything, so I wasn't worried about that. But yeah, I did not go for a swim in this accommodation. But I think it's kind of cool that this place is in driving distance, because now like I 100%, we are going back to stay in that accommodation for our wedding anniversary this year. 100%, that's what we're gonna do. Like, why wouldn't we? So that was, did I say the price already? That was $441.60, again for 2 nights. My dress, I love my dress. Obviously I'll put some pictures on the screen. My dress was on sale. I got it for, on sale, discounted, whatever. I got it for $999, and then I paid $440 to get it altered. It was a strapless dress, and I was self-conscious about this area here when I put my arms down. It's a bit like this. So I got some of the train that had to be hemmed, made as sleeves onto that to kind of just have some extra coverage. And I knew that I would end up going strapless, but I really didn't want a strapless dress because I end up going strapless because I'm not really broad. So a lot of dresses that have something going on here don't fit me well. And yeah, that's why I knew that I would always end up going for a strapless dress. But yes, I just wanted that little adjustment for my own kind of version of straps. So happy with that. So dress total was $1,439. Next up, and some of these other things are a bit random because we've done most of the big things now. We bought cologne. I really wanted to share a special cologne that both he and I would wear on the day, and then we both wore it for our entire honeymoon. So scent is connected to memory. I really wanted to have that. So we spent $119.97 on 2 bottles of the same cologne. Beauty, I had obviously a huge beauty appointment leading up to the wedding. I pretty much have a go-to for everything. So I went to one appointment with my one gal and she did my lashes. I got lash extensions for the day. I could have had like false lashes, but that's not very me. I got lash extensions. I got my brows tinted and waxed. I got my like lip waxed and stuff, and I got my teeth whitened. So I usually gift myself teeth whitening for my birthday every year, and my birthday is in the end of September, but the wedding was start of September, so I just did my teeth whitening for the year earlier than usual. And yeah, this was all one chick that did all of these things. So I spent $429 on that. And then my mother actually paid for, I got a pedi and a mani with acrylic, short acrylic nails, and I think gel on my toes as well. And it was between $110 and $150, but my mum actually paid for that. So thanks, Mum. I actually also believe that my mother gave me $1,000 towards my dress. So again, thank you for that. That was the only thing that that either myself or Grant didn't pay for. But speaking of Grant, there's a few things that he paid for that I didn't really track on my like budget template. So he purchased his own ring, and he didn't want a very expensive ring. That was like $250. His outfit, we went to Johnny Big and he got his suit, shirt and shoes for around $550 total. And then he also got his teeth whitened, and I'm guessing it was like $250, but I feel like it might have been a bit less than that. But he also got his teeth whitened for the day, which was something I recommended that he do, so that it wasn't like I had pearly whites and he didn't. It's a cool treatment to do. So if you're gonna get married and you're gonna get photos that are gonna be your favorite photos ever, you might as well have white teeth for it. It's not something that's like just lasts the one day either. Like you get the benefits ongoing. Then that really is most things. Obviously then after the wedding, we had to purchase our marriage certificate for me to start changing my name. I'm not going by Mrs., by the way. Normalize being a Ms. forever. In my professional life, I would be Mrs. all day, every day. I'm so sorry, but I am not owned by no one. Like, I have opted to share my life with someone, and I am taking on the surname because we want to have children together and I want to share the same name as my children. But I'm my own person, and I can tell people that I'm married when and if I want to. I don't have to identify myself before anything else as Mrs. Before I get to my first name, before I get to my surname, I would be misses. It's like me just like walking into every room declaring that I'm married. I don't know, call me too progressive, but not it for me. But in order to change my surname on things, I needed the marriage certificate. So that was around $70, and I couldn't order that until, I didn't get that for like 6 weeks or something. It took quite a long time. Thankfully, you can change your license and your Medicare and passport and stuff without paying. But that has come with other costs, like changing the titles on our house and so forth is quite expensive. But that's most things. So the total of all the things that I've listed so far, and forgive me if I'm forgetting anything, I haven't included like money that we spent while away for our wedding, like the food that we bought. We went to a Thai restaurant the night before. We went out for brunch the morning of and the morning after. We went to the pub for dinner on our wedding night. We stopped at a servo and bought some like pods and chocolate and stuff the night of our wedding. And you know, while I was getting my makeup done, I sent my husband to me to Coles for some Panadol and Nurofen because I was on my time of month. I haven't included any of those sorts of costs because I don't consider those wedding costs. They're just like, if we were away for a weekend, we would have spent that money. And to be honest, I didn't track it. So there's that. But the total of everything that I've said so far is $10,454.57. Under 11, which is pretty good. We were aiming to keep it between 8 and 10. Which, to be honest, we did with my mother's gift, so that's good. The other thing that I feel like is probably worth mentioning is my rings. So obviously normally the wedding band would be something that would be included in the like wedding day sort of costs. But if you don't know already, I custom designed my ring, and it is a moissanite ring. So there was a Michael Hill ring that I really liked. Basically based this design off. The thing was, so it had, I want to show you up close. So the ring that I liked from Michael Hill had a double halo, and I will insert a picture if I can find one, but it had a double halo. So the halo being the like ring around and like a cushion cut diamond in the middle, but it was tiny, like it was a tiny little circle diamond in the middle because diamonds are so overpriced. That was also a bridal set. I like the curved pave band just to go underneath that as my wedding band. My husband proposed to me without a ring, and that allowed me the freedom to custom design. He was never going to take a ring because he proposed to me overseas. If you don't know already, he proposed to me at the Trevi Fountain. So my life is an absolute movie. I'm like, what the flip that I can say that my husband proposed to me at the Trevi Fountain and I got to custom design my ring, and we eloped and then went to Japan for a honeymoon. Like, what did I do to get a life this surreal? Oh my bloody goodness. Anywho, so yes, we custom designed my ring and it came as a set. So we got both rings at the same time, but obviously I only wore my engagement ring until we did the wedding day. And the total for this was 4.1K, which is kind of cool because like I said, the band set with the tiny diamond was going to be like 4.3K. But I tried on a different ring that didn't have like all of the stones on the side, but did have like a much bigger diamond in it. And that ring would have been 10K. So it didn't have all of the design. It was just a bigger stone. And we knew that I liked the bigger stone. So yeah, by going moissanite, it meant that I could have the much bigger stone for the same price as the smaller ring. So definitely super happy with that. I went with rose gold just because it's more me, but it is not a very strong rose gold. Like I have other rose gold pieces that are much stronger, and I haven't factored it in here because it was gifted, but I did also get, and maybe I don't need to show you. I did get gifted from Read Your Heart another ring, and I went with a different shape and style, and I've got like a wedding band as well for that. That is a much more affordable moissanite than even this one. But that is what I consider to be my travel ring. So if I'm ever doing anything that's a bit precarious, this is a ring that is insured and protected with my life. So if I'm ever doing anything where I'm a little bit worried about wearing this ring, I will wear my other one. That's much more affordable. And I'm actually really grateful that I did that because it meant that I then didn't actually take my ring on my honeymoon. So I would have felt so funny if we had just gotten married and like 2 days later, like we're in honeymoon bliss and I'm not wearing a ring because I was never taking this. I was never taking this overseas with me. But I would have felt so weird not to wear a ring, just like when we're celebrating the fact that we just got married. So having this like travel ring was awesome for that. But then also you would think, oh, but it's not like now when you're not traveling, like you don't want to wear that ring, right? But sometimes I do, because that ring has so many memories attached to it, because that ring was my honeymoon ring. So it's not that I'm saying that like, oh, it's just as good as, like, absolutely not. I'm obsessed with the ring that I was able to custom design, and I get so many compliments on it. But it is just really cool to like have these special attachments to both options. Anyway, I have talked your absolute ear off. So once we add on the price of my rings, we are still around 15K, like under 15K for our elopement. All of the expenses that I can think of that we paid. And then, yeah, we probably spent about 15K going to Japan. So we still spent 30K, which I just could not imagine spending 30K or more on one singular day. Whereas I have an entire like month of my life that I will treasure and remember forever. Best trip ever. Hubby already wants to go back to Japan. Like, oh, just, it was amazing. It was incredible. But I have to edit this video. So I'm going to stop my yapping, and I shall see you in my next one. Please comment below, click like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload. Bye.